Hello! In this video, we'll be taking a look at the Graphical User Interface, or GUI for short, for beginners provided by the scqubits library. In particular, we'll be looking at the basic plotting features that this GUI will provide. Before we start, I do want to note that I'll be using Jupyter Notebook for this video, but you can always use Jupyter Lab if you want. Let's now get the GUI up and running, and to do so we first need to specify which matplotlib backend to use, and in my case I have it to be inline. Next we need to import scqubits, which I've done so as scq. Let's now run both of these cells, where the second cell will call the actual GUI, and doing so will result in this GUI that's seen here to appear. Now, with this GUI up and running, I want to turn our attention to the top of the GUI, where we can see both the list of available superconducting qubits, or scqubits for short, as well as some plot options. If we ever want to change what qubit we're working on or which plot that we're on as well, you can just click on the desired buttons. For example, let's say I want tunable transmon as well as matrix elements. And you can see that the plot does appear accordingly. For the rest of this video though, I'll just stick to transmon and wave functions. And with that, I want to focus our attention to the main part of the GUI, which is in the middle here, where all of these tabs are at. We'll only look at the first two tabs, where the main tab will contain all the plotting options, as well as sliders for changing the parameter values. For instance, let's say that I don't want states 0 to 4 being displayed, rather from states 0 to 3, I can just control click and see that the plot updates automatically. Furthermore, if I want to change the parameter values, I can just slide to the desired value, or you can input in the desired value for more accuracy. Let's say 42.075 or 0.75. Press enter and it should also update automatically. Now with that, I want to turn our attention to the qubit info tab, which will just contain the schematic for the current scqubit, as well as some useful information like its Hamiltonian here. With that, I want to note that if this continuous update stuff is too much, then you can turn on the manual update mode, which will first remove the current plot, but it will allow for the user to make as many updates to the parameter values or to the plot options as they desire without the plot showing up. If you do want the plot to show up, all one has to do is just press the update button, and that's what we see. And even with this plot here, making numerous changes to the parameter values or the plot options will not update the plot. It is only until the user presses the update button that a new plot will appear. I will note that for certain scqubits, for example, the flux qubit, 0 pi, full 0 pi, and cos2 phi qubit, they will automatically be set to manual update mode as they require more computational time for each change that one makes. With that, I want to focus now to what's next to the manual update, which are the saving features that this GUI provides. So currently I have the plot to be named as plot, and the location is going to be in my documents folder. You can change the location to wherever you want. You just have to plug it in into here. You can also update the plot name, but I'll just keep it as plot here. If you want, you can also change the format. Right now I have it to be PDF, but you can change it to PNG, JPEG, SVG, whatever else you would want, or whatever is supported by IPy widgets. Now if I press the save button, then what I see, let me pull it up from my documents, is the plot that's right here. So notice that the current plot that we have here is indeed saved as a correct one. And in the next video, we'll look at some more options if you want to ever change how this plot is being saved. But for now, that's all we'll deal with here. And with that, concludes the overview of the basic plotting features provided by the GUI. And I hope that this was helpful. If you want to learn more about the scqubits library, then I do highly recommend that you go to our documentation page at scqubits.readthedocs.io and scroll on over or click on over to the user guide, where you can find more information about everything about this package, and in particular about the GUI for beginners as well on that site.